You want to ask him how did he end up whistling? How did he start as a child?
How did you end up whistling? How did you end up playing the accordion?
I want to play guitar, but when I was when I was a child, I was very, very little, and my hand, there's no good to play guitar, and I play accordion.
That's great. And for me, how the whistling started was I was about 3 years old, and my aunt gave me a canary. And canaries truly are composers, I'm convinced. They have such unique songs that they develop. And I was fascinated by this little canary. And then later on, I started to take piano lessons. I was horrible. I tried to play the trombone. I was also pretty terrible. And then the euphonium, and I was bad. And then I had been a boy soprano. I did like Amal and the Night Visitors and things like that, and the voice changes. And so I started to study bel canto and opera. But the whistling just came so much more naturally to me. And a long time ago, it didn't always get the same reception that it gets today. I mean, people were much more conservative about what they expected with hearing opera. But I've noticed now audiences are much more open-minded, and it's just so much fun for me to get out there and perform this like soprano coloratura, but whistling. I do think the words of the song.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Yeah, that's kind of critical in order for me to perform it. If I can't know the words, I'm not going to be able to get it out there. And that's, I think, the reason why I've only performed operatic arias and not like symphonic melodies. Because I think for me at least, the language is so important. And when I whistle, I really want to try to convey that language even though there are no words. And that's why I think it's fun to do this in different countries with different cultures, because it does transcend language.
He took amazing lessons with Licia Albanese. I don't know if you are familiar with her. Tell them about Licia Albanese, because it was a bridge.
Opportunities to have master classes through Salvatore and Licia Albanese. She had a Puccini Foundation in New York. She's no longer with us.
And she's the one that initiated the vocal department for Ibla. We started with Licia.
But she was the star at La Scala in the 1940s.
Wow.
And Mussolini told her if she left, she would never sing at La Scala again. But anyway, she got on a boat and came to New York, became the star at the Met in the 1940s. She was the original Cho-Cho-san in Madame Butterfly. And
people would line up all around the old Met to get the signature.
That was the day when opera stars
divas,
were the Kardashians. People they were the tabloid, I mean, they were the celebrities of the day. And people would line up to see her. And she also was one of the most famous mimes in La Boheme. But having this unique opportunity to get to know her in her 70s and 80s, she still had such an artistic spirit. And she said, why do anything, why be ordinary? If you can make something beautiful, make it beautiful. And she would style herself. Even when in the opera, she would embellish her own costumes. She really took it on to be a full picture artist. And she did that until the day she died. And it's really...
an inspiration.
Totally. And we were very lucky to have been able to get some of her magic.
Maybe time for one or two more.
I wanted to ask about your improvisation and kind of what was going through your head when you're doing that. Like, are you thinking chords, or are you just sitting down and just
Good
playing?
point.
Yeah, that changes very quickly. I think the simplest answer is that I think everything. If you start to block ideas or to focus, this ultimately limits what you can do. If you put your mind everywhere, put yourself everywhere, then anything becomes usable.
How much does the audience affect your improvisation?
Yeah, the audience is, you can't say everything because you're part of it, but it's a very important part, and eventually it becomes part of the music. So it becomes, you can't differentiate the two.
Can you feel the audience while you improvise? are you totally into your music, or you have an ear to the audience?
Yes, you definitely feel the audience. For some days, just the audience has a emotional wall between you, and it takes a lot of effort to break that down. Some people are open, some people are not.
And one of you had a question.
How often do you sit with yourself in silence?
Sorry, how long do you sit with yourself in silence? How long do you be still within yourself?
Do any of you meditate, perhaps, or just find?
Maria does.
Yesterday was a good meditation day.
For the performance here, so about 20 minutes when I like to do something so important. It's 20 minutes about meditation. Yes. To add on to that, do you all spend a lot of time? And I've heard stories of like famous composers like Beethoven and like other big name artists from like the Western culture that has spent a lot of time not doing things in particular, just kind of sitting with your own thoughts, whether it's going on a walk or meditating. Do you all find yourself isolating time to just have to yourself and not worry about doing anything frequently? Yeah. I don't know if that made sense.
If you have time to just put time for doing nothing.
Having time to meditate. Okay.
Well, I think for me it's, well, you're almost, most of the time of your life isolated with instrument because it's like this, it's a lot of time and all your thoughts and everything.
It's pretty all
It's how we live, yeah, actually.
But silence is an important part of music. There's no good music without a good understanding of silence. We should consider silence as equal to music. It's something silence enriches your music. So if you know how to approach silence, music gains.
I think that's about time. You'll need to go. Can we please show our appreciation?
Thank you.